Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shut Up, We're Getting Married. This is Series 1, Episode 2, and today we're going to be discussing all things venues. And this episode's called Location, 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 because we thought it was a funny title, didn't we? So yeah, we're going to be discussing venues, our journey getting the perfect venue for us, and some little tips and tricks along the way.
So every week we pick a word that we're not allowed to say, just as a bit of a game. And this week the word that we're not going to be trying to say throughout this episode is the word venues, or something along those lines. So every time someone says it, we make a tally of it, and then at the end we'll see who said it most. And overall, at the end of the season, we'll see who wins and loses.
Yep.
So from this point onwards, no saying the word venue.
Yep, you're winning it. You won last week.
I did win last week.
So let's see how this week goes. However, there was a secret engagement from you last week.
I still would have won, but
Yep.
we did miss one last week.
So it was actually 3-2, but we watched it back and you you let one slip, didn't you, again?
I did.
Okay, venues is now banned. Okay, so, well, where to start? Well, when we first were getting married and were looking into it and things like that, we went to a wedding fair, didn't we, babe?
Yes, because we didn't really know where to start. Obviously this is brand new for us. We've never even been involved in the planning of a wedding. So that was where we chose to start.
Mm-hmm. We chose to start at a wedding fair, and we went round and we saw loads of cool stuff, magicians that I wanted to be involved.
It was everything, and it was kind of like it was like the South East England wedding fair or something, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So lots of different everything, all from the Southeast, involved in weddings, and we just walked around, spoke to different people and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we learnt pretty early on that we needed a place, didn't we?
Yeah.
For our wedding to actually take place in.
I thought you were going to
That was kind of the first thing that you need to kind of pick and decide on, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone we were going on up to, they were like, do you know whereabouts is your wedding? Whereabouts is your wedding? We were like,
Haven't planned it
nowhere
yet.
at the moment. So we were talking to magicians and we didn't even know where we were going to have it.
Yeah. And it was kind of what we worked out from that was that for us was our place of starting, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we didn't know where we were getting married, we couldn't get any of the other people because they're all location based.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, your photographer, your magician, whoever it is that you're getting at your wedding or to do your wedding needs to be within the vicinity. Is that the word?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Vicinity?
Yeah, I think it's vicinity.
Of where you get married.
Proximity, isn't it? Is it? Is that right?
I don't know.
One of the two.
So I think they probably both mean the same thing. Proximity?
Yeah, it has to be like in the area where you are, in the proximity.
Yeah, well, anyway, you get the gist. They have to be within the area, like within a area close to where you get married.
Yeah, no, they do, and yeah, so we found out pretty early on that we had to decide on the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
But what would you recommend a wedding fair? Do you think it was a good idea to go to?
It was quite fun. It was quite overwhelming, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And I found like a lot of people wanted you to they all want you to put your details down. They can never just give you the information. They're like, oh, put your details down and then we'll go over this. Like, no, just tell me how much you cost and then I can make a decision as to whether I want to share my details with you.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do that, would they?
No one wants to give away the details, the expenses, things like that. It's all like, let me show you. I keep coming back to the magician because he was the standout. But let me show you a magic trick. Right, what's your number? What's your email address? And then I'll send you a quote. And then you get sent his 6-minute YouTube video, wasn't it? And we were like, right, just tell us, Mm-hmm. But so we, as I say, learnt pretty early on that we did we find any places there that we liked?
Yeah, they had. I was about to say it then. They had locations there. I was trying to think of another way to say it.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. They had things there and we took loads of like leaflets and stuff like that home with us, didn't we? We took so much stuff home. We literally had like a whole bag full of papers back here. And it was just trying to make sense of all the information. That was quite tricky.
And then we went through the big bag when we got home and there was just stuff everywhere, wasn't there?
Yeah.
We had to throw loads away.
So much away. And there was... Because it's so hard to make sense of because there's so many different ways that different places do it. So in terms of like costs, packages, like all that kind of stuff. And it just didn't make sense in my head. Like it was so hard to be like, this one costs this much and this one costs this much and this one includes this. And it made no sense. It was really hard.
So why don't you tell everyone what you did?
I made the most comprehensive spreadsheets in the world, and it's so not like me at all, is it? I'm the most disorganised person. I'm such a... Do you know what, if I said like a type B person, do you know what that means?
No.
You're a type A person.
Right. What does that mean?
It's super organised.
Okay.
You like plans.
Yep.
You like to know what you're doing and all that kind of stuff.
So, a normal person.
And then I'm a type B person, which is someone who just kind of like goes with the flow.
Goes with the flow, airy kind of, oh, are we doing that today? I forgot kind of person.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's me.
Yeah, that is you.
But this was the most type A thing I've ever done in my life.
It was something for the ages, wasn't it, babe?
It was amazing. I was like, I should sell this spreadsheet because it had like all the names, the capacities, the cost of food, drinks, evening food, venue hire.
What hire?
Oh, you're waiting for that.
I didn't. You said it and I just thought, there's my opportunity. Brilliant. Right, I've got...
Hire cost.
Yeah.
Total cost.
Yep.
Extras.
Well, there's so many different variables, isn't there, and costs, and they all differ. And some of them is paid by guest. Some of them there's a venue hire. Some there's no. Oh my God! Straight away.
You should have learned from my mistake.
This whole game thing was my idea, and
I know.
I regret it so much. No, but there are, isn't there? There's so many, and then there's so many other different costs and stuff, and
there's just so many things to consider, and it was so confusing. So I made this spreadsheet, and it was all colour coordinated. So I'd managed to.
It was like Monica from Friends.
Yeah. So basically, when you got your total cost, it colour coded it based on whether it was in our budget or not. And then you could change the number of guests. So if we wanted less guests, we could change it, and it would tell us what the total cost is and if it was in budget and stuff like that, and the location as well. So then you could kind of like edit it, filter it, so it would show only places in certain locations and stuff, wasn't I? I loved it. It was amazing.
It was amazing. It helped us so much.
It was so good
because it just kept and then we kind of made a short list, didn't we?
Yeah. So I think we picked like 5 first of all. Was it 5?
I think it was like 8, and then we whittled them down to like 4 we really liked and worked on locations, because what we did is we stacked them when we went for viewings, didn't we?
Yeah. So we could do like multiple in one day because we had some near us, but neither of us were really that set on getting married like outside, like 10 minutes down the road, did we? No.
We did want to go somewhere and have the experience kind of somewhere other than where we live, as opposed to come back to our flat after the day.
Yeah, but we also didn't want to get married miles away, where a lot of people would have to like come out of their way to come to and like spend loads of money and stuff. Like we wanted to get married in the UK, but also kind of surrounding where we are. Yeah. Didn't we?
Yeah, near enough.
Yeah.
And so I think we picked, as I say, 5 that we wanted to go and see, have a look at and stuff. And then what happened next? What did we do? We kind of just called them up and said, can we come down, right? Or
well, some of them had open days. So we went to their open days, and the timing just worked out really well with when we wanted to go and see them. And some of them we had to book our own personal viewings to go and look around.
Yeah, we did. And would you say there's a massive difference between like going on an open day and just booking a general appointment just for you to look around?
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both, isn't there?
Well, what would you say a pro is of like an open day? You get to see
everything, and you get to see it set up on the day, like how they would have it on the day or how they might have it on the day. They also have suppliers there, so you can talk to all the different or some different suppliers.
Yeah, true.
Can't you?
Yeah.
And get an idea of just like seeing it in action, but it's like less personalised.
Yeah,
there's less like people around to ask questions because there's more people around looking as well.
Yeah, I felt that when we actually just went to see it, just us, not on an open day, we kind of got a real, personal experience. Like they gave us all their attention.
Yeah.
Luckily, there was weddings on every day we went.
Yeah,
right?
that was the benefit of the viewings we went on. Because if there hadn't been a wedding on, we would have just been walking around like empty rooms, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we would have been walking around empty rooms, which would have been a bit... You wouldn't have been able to gauge what it would look like. You'd have to really use the imagination.
Yeah.
And then we went to... The first place we went to was one in Maidstone, wasn't it? Called the Orangery.
Yeah.
What did you think of that one?
Oh, it was so... Because this is one I found all of them, let's not lie. I was going to say this is one I found, but I found all of them.
Yeah, you consulted the spreadsheet and then we went from there.
Yeah. This one was so beautiful, like so beautiful, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing.
It was stunning, but we only want quite a smallish wedding, and we're just not going to be able to do it justice. Like walking around, we're like, it's so big and beautiful that if people are like spread out, it will look like there's no one here.
Yeah.
So even though it was amazing, it wasn't for us. And you were really worried. Why were you really worried when we were going and looking around there?
What? I can't remember. Why?
Because that one was a bit out of our budget, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then when we were looking, you were worried that I was going to really, really love it.
Oh, yeah. I was worried. When we were looking around, I just felt we were going to get in the car and you were going to be like, oh, that's the one. And I was so like, this is not the one. Like, it was such a gorgeous event. Oh, just put it down.
Does that count?
Yes, it counts, I think. This game is so difficult.
You've shot yourself in the foot here, because I'm better at this than you.
Right. Anyway, this place is so lovely.
Yep.
And it's just so gorgeous, but it's gorgeous for 200 guests. It's not gorgeous for 50 guests. And the wedding they were having on the day we went, they were having fireworks.
Yeah.
They had it outdoors.
They had like 3 different bands.
Three different bands. They had like 150 guests. We went in the food kind of area. I don't know what you call that.
The wedding breakfast.
The wedding breakfast room. And I'm so clued.
This is such a funny story.
Listen, I just say yes.
This is such a funny story. So when we started doing this, we were looking at all the costs. You were like, why do we need to get breakfast? Why can't we just go and like have something little beforehand? And I was like, no, that's the name of the dinner. Didn't you? You were like,
I thought the wedding breakfast would be like a croissant.
Yeah, you're like, why are we paying £100?
I thought it'd be like a croissant for you and stuff,
You're
and like a
can't
banquet.
We just not have dinner?
Like while you were getting ready with the girls, and I would turn up and have like a pan chocolate whilst I was getting ready.
You're like, can't we just not have breakfast?
I just thought, let's just like go to, the Tesco bakery or something. other brands are available, and buy a croissant and eat that on the quick one before we go in.
That's the meal.
But no, the wedding breakfast is in fact the main meal for the entire wedding party. But
Not the wedding, just the wedding, not the wedding party.
Yeah, I learned that.
Whole day.
I learned that one quick. But no, the Orangery was lovely, but it just wasn't for us, was it? So we returned home and we consulted
No, we went
our
to another one
spreadsheet.
that day. We went to an open day that day. We went to
the drive one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Down in like Sussex, wasn't it?
That was a while. That was about a 2-hour drive, wasn't it?
And then the weather was so bad.
As I say, was a complete different experience because it was an open day, wasn't it?
Yeah, got a glass of Prosecco on arrival.
That's the perks of open days.
Yeah.
And what do you think of that one? What was it called again? Blackthorn. Blackstock Lane.
Lane?
Something like that. Blackstock Lane or Blackstock
County Estate,
maybe. But yeah, we can, because we've got our spreadsheet, we'll put a link in the description so people can check out the venues.
Yeah, because we wanted, we both liked like a Barney.
I said it again.
Oh! I didn't even notice that one.
I know.
That one. What did you say?
I just said it. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, we wanted, because there's different types of places, aren't there?
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that we wanted like a Barney kind of thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
We didn't want like a church. Or
no, we like the barn kind of style,
Barney
didn't we?
Vibe. That was what we wanted. So we looked at more those kind of places. Yeah. So this one was a barn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a farm, wasn't it?
It was a farm, but barn type style feel to it, didn't it? Yeah. But it was just a bit far away for our liking, for our guess. It was like a 2-hour drive for us.
It was like on the side of like a main
side of a road, and it didn't blow us away. It was lovely, but it just wasn't our. It was a bit dark in there as well, wasn't it? And we just didn't. I think your wedding location and where you choose to kind of get married is a bit like buying a house. You know, when we bought our flat, we knew instantly when we left, this is the one for us. And I think it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Well, that's every place we went to go and view. They said that to us, didn't they? That you'll know if it's the right one. And we went and viewed some and we were like, they're nice. Like, we could get married here, but weren't like sold to them. Yeah. And then we went to the venue that we did pick.
The what that we did pick? Oh. That's 2 I could catch here. Okay, good. Carry on, baby.
We went to the place that we did pick.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
And we both like on the same page straight away. I think as soon as we rocked up, we knew. I knew as soon as we rocked up because this was one of my favourites the whole time.
Yeah,
didn't we?
It was your favourite.
And I think you thought I was tricking you in like the cost and like downplaying it. Or something.
Couldn't. It was so lovely that I couldn't quite believe the prices you were spouting at me, and I just thought we're going to get there and there's going to be some hidden $5,000 cost for this or that, but there really wasn't.
No, there wasn't. And as soon as we rocked up there, I was like an excited child, and you were like, we haven't even looked around yet.
No, we were in the car park. But you and I was just like, and Pippa does this. She has this thing, right? When she wants something, there's no negotiation power, okay? And this is why I took over with negotiations when we were buying our home.
Yeah, I know.
And, when we got this little one, for anyone that can't see, Max, our little dog's in the podcast with us, joining us as a guest. When we got this little one, she just, all in her face that she, wanted him. And it's just like, well, right. Well,
it's when I want something, it's worth the money.
Yeah, but it's just game over now. I've got to buy it. But anyway, we were in the car park and you were giving me those eyes, weren't you? And then we went to walk around, and in fairness, it blew us away.
It was the best one we went to see.
It wasn't just the best. It's the best one I ever seen. We fell in love with it, didn't we?
Yeah. And they had, because that was a viewing as well, and they had a wedding on the day.
Yeah, that wasn't an open day. We are going back for an open day, though. In a couple of weeks' time, even though we've already booked it for, way down the line, we're still going back for an open day to just get the full experience, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Same. But, yeah, so, this place, it just blew us away. It had 3 rooms, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which is such a plus, because when you are looking for a place, like, some of them will have 2 rooms and then you've got to usher everyone out for a quick turnaround, to set up for the evening.
Well, one of the ones we went to see had 1 room.
1 room.
And you had to turn it around from the ceremony to the meal, and then to the meal to the reception.
Yeah. Which, they said that it takes like half an hour, which was fair enough. But, it's just that extra complication. But this this place had 3 rooms, ceremony room, separate to the wedding breakfast, separate to the dance floor area.
Yeah.
So you're really spread around nicely. There's a lot of room for, everyone to have a good time. And we went in the ceremony room and walked down the aisle.
Yeah, she did like a little run through, didn't she? She said, so like, you'll walk down here and you'll meet each other at the top like this. And you got a bit emotional, didn't you?
I shed a couple of tears. Because it hits you. It really does,
It's like, so nice.
You're just standing there and you think, wow, we're going to be like getting married here, potentially, in, a year, 2 years' time. And you're like, this is real. And you're in the place and it's beautiful and it's all set up like it's a wedding. It just hit me and I just started crying. I shed a couple of tears. I didn't bawl.
No, I didn't even notice.
I was emotional because it was just so wonderful and gorgeous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so nice.
And then we went into the wedding breakfast place, I'm going to call it. And that was all set up lovely, wasn't it?
Dining room.
Dining room.
Yeah, I guess so.
And one thing I liked about that place, the place that we're having it, is because like there was that little room where we could have a separate little chat after, wasn't there? And I could get ready in this room. And
well, as well, I think the wedding that was on that day, they had so many like great ideas. So and like very in line with the kind of things that we would do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we were like, oh yeah, we could do this as well. So we could really see it like the way we would want it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just a gorgeous place, and we fell in love with it. Like I say, you know, some things in life you just know.
Yeah.
Like this flat or the little doggy, you just kind of know this is the one for us.
And everything just lined up so perfectly with it as well. Like the date that we wanted was still free, which it hadn't been at other places we'd looked at, had it. Like all the costs were there. It met all of our criteria in terms of like capacity, people staying overnight. I can't even remember what other things.
Just everything. It ticked all our boxes. There was no cons, and it just ticked all our boxes. But what do you think, babe, to like outdoors and indoors weddings? Because I've said it again.
You're doing rubbish this week.
The place but it's a really difficult one.
Yeah, no, it is harder this week.
But the place we have gone with is kind of offers outdoors and indoor ceremonies, right?
Yeah.
And I was just going to ask you, like, because obviously we were umming and ahhing, and I would love an outdoor wedding.
Yeah, you really want.
What do you think, like, about that?
I think, and the decision. Do you know my picture?
Yeah, it's lovely.
The time of year we're getting married, it wasn't worth kind of the risk, was it? Because we're getting married in spring, so there is a high possibility here in the UK that it will rain.
Yep.
So for us, it made more sense to pick an indoor one. I personally like indoor ones anyway.
Yeah, I do too.
Because you can kind of make it, I feel like it's more of a blank canvas where you can make it your own, whereas outdoors, you've kind of got to go with the space you're in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if it does rain, you just can't control the weather. And anything can happen, and you're taking such a risk. And look, I think book your wedding location. My advice anyway would be book your wedding location for the indoor purpose, and if you want to have an outdoor on the like closer to the time, or you fall in love with their outdoor space, go with that. But if you're booking it for the outdoor space and then it rains and you've got to be ushered inside and the indoors isn't as nice as you want it to be, you're all over the place, aren't you?
Because that's, they said to us, didn't they, that if on the day or like the day before, whatever, it's meant to be really nice weather, they have an outdoor space that we can use.
Exactly.
But I think we'll use indoors anyway.
No, we'll go with the indoors anyway, won't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've discussed a good few places there, haven't we? We'll give some links so you can check some of them out in the description.
Yep.
And things like that. But yeah, I think let's move on to the section of our tip of the week. Okay, let me just rustle them up. Oh, Max is involved. Tip of the week. What have we got, baby? You're picking it this week.
This is the funny one. Prepare for rejection.
Do you remember when we first did this one and it was prepare for rejection? We were like, what does that even mean?
No, you thought it was like your partner might not show up on the day.
No, if something says prepare for rejection, obviously your first thought is that must mean like, what if your partner like runs away and doesn't want to get married, right?
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean, babe? You know.
It's things like your date might not be available that you want, or
right.
suppliers might not be available
or the
on
band
the day you want.
Yeah. Right.
Or people might, oh, Max, don't actually eat that. Oh, it's gone.
Okay. Our dog's just eaten the piece of paper for the tip of the week because Pippa gave it to him. And he's currently, don't know if you can hear, and he's gone. Okay, carry on. God's sake, babe, why? We're live on air. Why have you fed the dog a tip of the week? He's not going to eat, he's going to eat.
No, I wasn't asking him to eat it.
We will.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Or like guests might not be available to come.
Or like, yeah, or a different supplier or things like that.
Yeah, that's what it means by rejection, not that your partner might not show up on the day.
Well, yeah, and I guess the tip here is don't get so like, I'm going to say married, but don't don't get so married to an idea or like don't get so, invested in something because anything can happen. There's a lot of moving parts. And I think that like, if you really want this magician that I did and still do, then, and then he says, look, I've got a different wedding on that day, or I don't work that day, or I'm on holiday, then you're married to this idea that unfortunately can't happen, So, I guess that is a great tip to go by. And we've stuck to that so far. We haven't really got,
Well, we've also planned it like 2 years in advance. All the people we've asked have been available so far.
That's very true. And I guess we will discuss that further in our suppliers episode, which is coming soon, right?
Very true. Yep.
But yeah, okay. Well, let's go on to totting up the scores.
So, coming to the end of today's episode, let's see scores for this week in terms of who said it the most. We know the answer.
We all know the answer, don't we?
Yeah. How many times did I say it?
You said it first, if that's any consolation.
Yeah, I said it first last week as well. It's a bit of a trend.
And then you made a comeback and you only said it 2 times. How many times did I say it?
4.
4? 4-2? I think it was 4-2 last week.
No, it was 3-2 last week.
Oh, 3-2.
So you did worse this
I am
week.
now losing 2-0 with 8 episodes to go. I've really got to turn it around.
I know. You're not very good at this.
It's bloody hard. This one was really hard.
This one was really hard. Anyway.
But anyway, so there we go. 4-2. 2-0 to Pip. I am now 2-0 down and my back is against the wall and I've got to come out fighting next week, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so that is all we've got time for today, isn't it? Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of Shut Up, We're Getting Married. We will be back again in a couple of weeks with our next episode.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. But until then, you can follow us on social media. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube and follow us on TikTok. Just to see you through until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.